is over.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Insiders. We are so glad you could join us this evening. And wow, we have got a crazy bunch of news for you guys tonight. It has been a heck of a week. We all know what happened on Monday Night Raw with everything there. Of course, tonight's stuff, I didn't even see. I just caught the very end because I've been having some issues with my car. So, but yeah, it has been an absolutely crazy week, even from back to SmackDown last week. So it is a crazy, crazy wrestling world we are in. And as always, I've got my co-host, Jeff. Jeff, how's it going, man?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. Excited to talk about everything we have planned this evening.
Yes. We've got a full schedule tonight. As always, we will start off with our friend Gary Cassidy, and we will talk to him about some of the current events that we had, and of course the things with Raw, and some other things we will talk about with Gary. One of the things I know we want to talk about too with him is talking Shopomania, because Jeff and I both love that. Had some great laughs from that. We'll talk to Gary and ask him what he thought about that. And then we have got some AEW news to talk about after Gary's segment. We will talk about the move of AEW to a different night. And we're going to also chat a little bit about AEW's women's division. What is going on with that? I know there's been a lot of Twitter talk today about the heels, the AEW heels thing, which if you guys had listened to our interview with Queen of NE, she had said that she was part of that. She was involved in some of the early conference calls about it and things like that. We were trying to get her on later this evening, but unfortunately she was in the track of the last storm that we got here in the United States, and their area was really hit hard by that tropical storm. So she is without power, unfortunately, but she did say that she would try to join us next week. So we will talk to her about that. And then, of course, we have our debate segment coming up as well. I know everybody loves the debates, so we will have that for you. And also, we've got a big announcement tonight to make as well. I know we teased this on a couple of our previous shows and kind of told everybody that we've got an announcement coming up, and we certainly do. We have a big announcement tonight for everybody in our community and all of our Insiders Army. It's exciting. And another step in another direction that we are taking. So before we get started, let me tell everybody, as always, if you have not already done so, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you are on Twitch, or if you have a Twitch account, head over to there and subscribe to our channel over there as well. We're going to be having some special things for Twitch coming up also. Jeff and I are going to do some smaller shows, and we're going to talk about maybe some like top 10 kind of things. Jeff and I were kind of discussing our first one that we're going to do, and it's going to be the top 10 creepy gimmicks. So you know that the Fiend is going to probably be in there, and you can probably imagine who some of the others will be. So we will do those for Twitch only. So if you don't have a Twitch account, maybe you want to go and sign up and get one. Wouldn't be a bad idea. But if you do, make sure you follow us over there. And as always, we are broadcasting from Facebook and from Periscope as well. So those of you that are on there, thank you for joining us, and thank you guys for being here tonight. So let's get into this, shall we? And let me just welcome some people in. Famous KJ Carter, hello. Darren, hello to you. Days Fan, hello to you. Match of the James, welcome and hello to you. W3RV3NOM, what's up, guys? Not much. Your name is rough to read, but how are you? And I hope you're doing well. Big Boy Dally, welcome. Butterspark says, hey there. Hey there. Welcome to you. See, Wrestling is in the chat saying good morning. Yes. Gotta forget, they are ahead of us over there, like Gary is. Chase Jordan and Austin 316, hello to you. So let's get into it. Let's get into our first topic. Jeff, what are we going to start to cover here with Gary? What are we going to talk about first?
Let's go ahead and talk about what happened on Monday night. We'll just talk about Raw a little bit. and then we'll go into the other part of Raw that was very interesting.
All right, sounds good. So, all right, so Gary, what did you think of? I mean, I was watching your reports with a keen eye all day on Monday because honestly, I put my phone down and I was doing something for a couple hours, and I picked my phone back up, and it was like the wrestling world exploded. And I had seen all of your stuff, all of your reports. I saw your report about what Raw was going to be like, and how they were upset because it was a disorganized kind of a mess. And then there were, things coming that maybe Vince was upset and everything like that. And I'll tell you, after watching it, it really seemed to be that way because I sat there more confused than I ever was after a Raw. It was just all over the place. We'll talk about Underground in a bit, and obviously the new faction as well, but it was just all over the place. And it did seem like it was just kind of really discombobulated and there was no direction. So I know you had written about that. Is that the way it came off to you as well?
Just when you think you're going to get a quiet week in wrestling, I don't think there's such a thing.
No, there is not.
There
is not.
I was sitting, I think I mentioned this quite often when I join you guys, where, it's not unusual for me to get a message to say that there's been multiple rewrites or something like that. It seems like you get those kind of messages more weeks than you don't. But for some reason, the messages I got this week just kind of stood out a little bit more. There was a lot of chatter about how little was confirmed going into it in terms of segments. I've now, been told that apparently there was 2 segments that were confirmed before going into Monday. Obviously, when it got to Monday, everything changed as well. Funnily enough, the stuff that I'd put out officially was quite, it was about as vague as it's going to get, because it was about how, chaotic it was backstage and stuff like that. It wasn't very specific. And I'm glad that was the case, because what happened is normally I do my Twitch stream 1 hour before Raw kicks off. And just because the AEW tag team, the women's tag team tournament cup tournament was kicking off on Monday, I was like, right, I want to watch that, so I'll go an hour earlier. So I was sitting watching the AEW women's tournament on YouTube with my phone, and I started getting more messages with, "You'll never believe it." It's like, oh man, this is going to be more kind of vague messages saying about how chaotic it was. And it was someone saying they're going to be doing something with a ring with no ropes. And I was like, no, surely not. I'm going, right, I'm glad I've got this message so late, because now I write myself out of the, if I was to write an article on it, it would be too late anyway. But also I was like, if I write an article on this, man, if they pull that segment last minute, I will look like a chump. It was like, there is no way that people will believe that's the segment. But yeah, all of that on Monday. Apparently even, they were recording 2 episodes on Monday. It went right into the night. Apparently 1 a.m. was when they got, wrapped up doing the second week of Raw, which is this Monday's. Apparently, just as chaotic as this week, but obviously they've got more time in terms of production. But that carried over into Tuesday, because Tuesday was when SmackDown was being recorded, and they were meant to be recording 2 episodes, and that turned into 1 episode and the usual 1 episode of 205 Live. So yeah, busy 2 days, I guess, at WWE. Very, very glad to be as far away from Florida as possible, because it sounded like mayhem. And man, I think... for anyone that maybe didn't see the reports that I put out, I think anyone that watched Raw might have realised that it was a little bit busy backstage would be the nice way of putting it, because it seemed like a lot of things were slightly random, slightly thrown together, and that's not always a bad thing. I always say, those episodes are normally my favourite episodes, but it did seem a little bit thrown together.
Yeah, I agree. Now, excuse me 1 second here, because everybody's saying that something's going wrong with YouTube. Saying the stream is down. Sunny, although some people are saying nothing wrong on their end. Yeah, try. Yeah, Jeff had just put in the notes. Try closing out of YouTube and come back in, maybe. Big Boy Dally, I know you said you're having problems. Steve Walker said you're having troubles. Try logging back out and coming back in, because apparently it's working fine for some people. Austin 316 says it's working fine. C's on Twitch now. Well, that's cool. So yeah, try. Like I said, we're on different mediums there that you can get into. So if YouTube's acting weird, I'm not real sure. I wasn't on YouTube much today, and I didn't really see. But try to refresh it, come back in, and see what's going on. I apologize for that. I don't know what it is. I haven't heard anything. Anyway, yes, Gary, I agree with you. There was so much going on, and I just couldn't wrap my head around everything. Like we got some great segments. I mean, we got the Drew and Randy segment, and we got the Dominic Mysterio thing with Seth, and we got some really cool stuff. It just did seem like it was all over the place for me, and it was tough to follow everything that was going on. So I agree with you. It did seem very like disorganized, like it was reported to be. And I could understand why, if the reports are true and Vince was indeed not happy, I can kind of see why he wasn't happy. So yeah, it was just, I mean, Jeff, what did you watched it? I know, poor Jeff's been without cable for a while, but I know he was able to watch this one. So what did it seem like to you? Did it come off a little bit confusing to you as well?
Yeah, I mean, it did. It came off like things were a bit disjointed, kind of hopping around from thing to thing there. But the one thing that I will say is I feel like the Randy Drew promo kind of benefited from that, because it felt less scripted at that point. It felt more like a shoot than a scripted promo.
Yeah, I agree. It just came off to me, like I said, it came off just weird. It just felt weird. And I mean, I know, Gary, you also had said that they taped these back to back. If that's the case, then I don't know. Maybe we'll get some different answers on this week's episode. Like maybe, when you see the part one of a 2-part thing, maybe we'll get better answers as to what is going on this coming week, whether it's with Raw Underground and whether it's with the faction itself that we saw. And while we're there, why don't we get into the Raw Underground thing next? Because obviously that was a big talking point as well. And I know Gary mentioned about that a little bit, and seeing that the ring wasn't there. There was no ring ropes and stuff like that. I mean, when I saw it, I didn't know what it was. And I think maybe I was thinking to myself, are they trying to be kind of UFC-ish here? It reminded me of like a Fight Club kind of a thing, when they're in a basement and it's dingy and dirty, and I mean, the dancing girls there, I didn't get. I didn't get that at all.
I don't think anyone did.
Yeah, I didn't get that. I mean, are they going for the Attitude Era edginess? Maybe. I don't know. I didn't really get that. But as we saw it later, and I guess maybe because, and I said maybe this was on me because, maybe I just built this up into my head thinking that you heard about this faction coming and you thought that maybe Shane was going to be in charge of the faction, and not the person who's in charge of this Raw Underground thing that we got. So I don't know. It could be that, but yeah, it just seemed kind of odd. Like, and then I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe they're going to make the hour 3 be all about Underground, and maybe they'll cut the show down to 2 hours, which we've been kind of thinking, well, maybe that might not be a bad thing. But we didn't get that either. This was like just promos that they were doing in between matches. So, what did you think of Raw Underground? Do you think there's anything here for this going forward? I mean, I can see it being intriguing if they have, if they have guys like Brock Lesnar, obviously would be, huge in a thing like this. Shayna Baszler, the people that have had the fighting backgrounds would be awesome in this. So, do you think there's any future for this, or is this going to be a 2-episode thing, and they're going to be like, nope, this just did not work. So yeah, we're done.
So I think I may be in the minority of people who quite liked it overall. There was a lot of things I hated about it. You know, the dancing girls was a terrible idea. I don't know why you would put them in there. Just a lot of things were a little bit ropey about it. Pardon the pun, because there was no ropes. But yeah, it was just a bit, I don't know, very random. I don't think, you know, if I hadn't got the message about it 45 minutes before Raw, I think I may not have liked it so much. I think I had enough time to prepare, you know, mentally and emotionally prepare to see what we were seeing. It's odd that they would have Shane McMahon in there, you know, the guy with probably the most legitimate punches in wrestling, maybe. No, I don't know why he was the person there. Apparently, they had gone back and forth about maybe having different people fronting the thing, but I guess Shane makes sense as a kind of authority figure that's always, you know, got the wacky ideas, I guess. But for me, I liked it. I think maybe they should have had someone established first, because they had Babatunde, who I still can't remember his name. I think it was Daba Kato or something they called him. Yep. But he looked really good, and, you know, he's been great in the main event film on Netflix. He's been great. But he was in the Greatest Royal Rumble, and he had a decent kind of little cameo in that with Braun Strowman. He's not really featured much on NXT, though. But he looked good. But that was, again, all part of the confusion. The main confusion for me is I don't understand why, and this is me thinking in storyline, I don't understand why the wrestlers would want to do it. They need to put some kind of jeopardy in there. It needs to be either, you know, you're fighting for your job, or you're going to get a pot of prize money, something like that. Even something so simple as that in storyline, there needs to be a reason for it. Now, I really like what they've done. The way they threaded it through the show, you know, they teased it quite well. They had big Jordan Omogbehin, who I just love seeing him all the time, the 7'3" former basketball player. He is just a guy that looks like a star. They had him on the door. They had the vice president of creative writing, who is called Ryan Ward. They had him, who is not 7'3". He's quite a bit smaller than 7'3", carrying the coffee, you know, the little comedic segment. They built it really well. They threaded it well throughout the whole show. They teased it really nicely. And then I think that you know, having Babatunde, no offense to the guy, but people wouldn't recognize him that were just watching Raw, because he's not someone that's been, you know, prominently featured on Raw at all. Right. But I think the things I really liked about it, you know, Eric from the Viking Raiders looked phenomenal, considering they've not really handled them so well recently. And Dolph Ziggler, even having the little show in there. And I also loved the end. I loved the Hurt Business being there. I like the way they took over. I think a nice disclaimer that I can say is my two favourite promotions ever are ECW and also Lucha Underground, and it wasn't a million miles away from either ECW or Lucha Underground. So for me, I really liked it. I do think it's got a bit of shelf life. Again, I'm probably in the minority here, but I actually think just because of how they've kicked this off with a faction, I think Raw Underground might have a longer shelf life than that. I think we're going to get at least 2 months of this. I think they'll persevere that long. And I know that's quite a long time in wrestling land. But I think they might actually do that and go for a couple of months. The one thing that I would like is to get from this is some kind of, you know, storyline build going through it. A tournament, and I keep saying this, a tournament that ends in a fight pit match on a WWE pay-per-view would be amazing. Yeah, we'll wait and see. A lot of like, a lot of dislike. So hopefully we get more of the stuff I like this week on it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I mean, maybe we'll see the continuation this week as it was filmed back to back. But yeah, I mean, you know, I mean, looking back at it, there's things that could be intriguing here. Like I said, I mean, with the Hurt Business clearing out the whole thing at the end, that came off a little bit weird to me, but not because of that. It came off weird because of how they had them both lose. Yeah, I mean, they both lost at the beginning. So, I mean, Shelton Benjamin lost the 24/7 belt, and then obviously MVP lost as well. So you had them lose early on, and then at the end of the show, they look, you know, like they're on top of the world again. So, yeah, I don't know. It was, again, I guess it just fits into that theme of the fact that the show was just crazy. It was just, you know, it just was. It looked like it was just like all over the place. But I can, I can maybe see some interesting parts of this if they go forward and, like I said, or you were saying, if it leads to a match somewhere down the road. I mean, guys like Dolph Ziggler and, like you were saying, the Viking Raiders and stuff in there. Okay. I mean, you're giving them a little something to do where maybe they wouldn't have had anything really to do. So, there's nothing wrong with that. And I mean, Dolph had a good amateur wrestling background, so I could see him maybe wanting to be involved with that. But yeah, Jeff, what did you think about Underground? I mean, I think we were talking about it a little bit, chatting about it while it was on, but what did you think of it? And do you think there's any future to this?
I actually loved it. So I'm right there with Gary on that. I think that people just need to give it some more time. It's been 1 week, so give it a little more time. See what happens. But I'd like for it to get rid of the dancing girls. That was just
just
a tone deaf move.
Yeah,
get rid of that. You don't need that. And build up some stories in Raw Underground. Get me really invested in seeing more of these guys and developing some of that. I mean, I really like seeing Dolph in this and how aggressive he was. So show me some more of that. Give me some more people down here that are bigger names. Maybe get a Shayna Baszler or get someone down there, and let's see it go on. But I do think it had a great start. I just want to see more of it. I want to see them really take the time to develop this.
Yeah. No, I agree. Look, we've only seen one thing. And the one thing is that, everybody is always out there saying that they need to do something. They need to change things up, right? Everybody's always saying, look, they've got to change some stuff. It's too blah. It's the same thing week after week after. Well, they did. And, so maybe this is the chance they're going to take with changing things up here. So, let's just see where it goes. Again, like I said, if I was going to grade this Raw, I would have given it an incomplete because you've only seen part one of what looks to be a part 2 episode. So let's wait and let's see what we get next Monday and see how it comes off. I'm checking the chat. It looks as if people are okay now. I mean, a lot of you are now over on Twitch, but I know some people joined us in YouTube as well. So I guess everything's cool, which is good. But those that stayed with us and went over to Twitch, thank you. We appreciate that. I'm glad you are over there and able to still listen. So let's move on to what we now know is Retribution. Retribution is the name of the faction that we saw. And I know everybody was kind of making fun of it when you saw the little clip and you saw them pipe bombing stuff outside of the arena, and they were throwing some, fire bombs into what did not look anything like any generator I have ever seen in my entire life. It looked like amplifiers at a rock concert to me that were stacked up all the way up high. I mean, now I guess people are kind of looking at these guys and stop motioning the video and trying to maybe figure out, are these guys wrestlers? Or was it just that they had people in masks that were just out there portraying maybe who's going to be in the faction? I know some people have broken it down. I did too. I looked at some of the pictures. I noticed the woman. There's 2 women in there. So there's a woman in the middle and a woman on the right. The woman in the middle is left-handed. I did notice that. So of course, like a crazy person looking for spoilers, I go through and look to see who in the WWE is left-handed or who was left-handed and who was a woman. Of course, you come up with Ronda Rousey. You come up with AJ Lee. You come up with a lot of, so again, this is going to run rampant now because everybody's going to be guessing who these guys are. Of course, we saw Ciampa and Dijakovic's accounts disappeared on Twitter. Everything was blacked out. So are they involved somehow? So Gary, what do you think of the faction? Of course, they copyrighted the name Justice as well. So we kind of thought, is Justice the name of the faction? But obviously it's not. So what do you think of this faction? And, what do you think? Where do you think they're going with this? Obviously, they're saying it's an anti-establishment type of thing where they're against the management of WWE. So, knowing what you know, and I don't know if you got to kind of check that picture and stuff either, and if you analyze that picture or not, but do you think that was actually the wrestlers out there doing that, or do you think maybe they just hired some actors to have them go out there and kind of portray whoever this faction was going to end up being?
So I did see the photo. I don't think it's AJ Lee. The reason for that is because, much like most things on this week's Raw, I believe it was put together pretty last minute. And I don't think they would be able to bring in someone like AJ Lee for that. Also, I'm not sure how willing she would be to come back anyway, and particularly in this kind of angle.
True.
The main thing for me, and this is where it gets worrying, because I like what we seen initially. I know, like the generator was a little bit dumb. The technical problems were, not great, but I still liked it. I like these mystery things. I like surprises. That being said, this is where I balance it out by saying some horrible things. The fact it was advertised was really bad, and the fact that it was advertised and we didn't actually get a faction. I was still waiting at the end of Raw. I was like, oh, a faction is going to come in here and confront the Hurt Business. And they didn't, because we'd already seen the faction. We just didn't know that we'd seen the faction. So that was a pretty silly move, but apparently that was, and I don't know how this can happen in such a big company, such a globally renowned company. Apparently it was a lack of communication. They saw that Ryan Satin of Pro Wrestling Sheet put out a story on the hacker, on the faction, and then they put one out. But I'm going, that's not the way it works at WWE. So that was really dumb. I don't know how they even got to doing that. My one big worry is, they've done that to start off with. We all remember the Eric Rowan Spider. The similarity that I draw, I know a lot of people might be like, well, what's that got to do with this? The similarity I would draw here is there is a very, very, very good chance, and I hope I'm wrong, but there's a very good chance that WWE don't actually know who's in the faction yet. And that's the worry, because that's where you start getting problems. If you're trying to book things on the fly, sometimes it works, but most of the time it doesn't. That's my worry here. The one other thing that I'm really, think is annoying about this faction is they're so chaotic, they're so anti-establishment, they're so against WWE that they're going to show up every Monday night. It's like, there's WWE programming on all week. There's a lot of things you can do there, and it's no secret. We know that the same authority figures are behind Raw and SmackDown, so it doesn't make any sense to only have them on Raw if they're going to be this chaotic team. I hope they prove me wrong here, because I liked everything we've seen on screen, but everything they're doing off screen and everything that I know off screen is what leads me to believe that this may not go down too well. And then when you couple it with the hacker stuff, which is not a million miles away from the hacker stuff, how quickly that died after being super exciting. And this, I don't think, is anywhere near as exciting. I keep saying the one thing I want them to do if it gets to a storyline like this is they need to do what, and I know a lot of people have only recently tuned into Impact, but Impact had a really, really great thing going. And it still is kind of going. They've killed the storyline, but the logo's still there. Sami Callihan, ICU it's called, and he was a hacker. And rather than just being, him hacking Impact stuff, they worked with What Culture. They worked with a load of people to have that logo, and the glitch go across YouTube everywhere. Was really, really good. It was the perfect way of doing it. If WWE want to make this a success, the one thing they should do is take the WWE name away from it. And it will still be associated with WWE because it will only be on WWE, but don't sell the t-shirts on the official shop. Make a standalone store. Do anything you can to make it feel real. And that is the thing that will make it succeed. Hopefully they actually have an idea of where they're going. And I think we will find out a lot more on Monday. But I'm going to stay a little bit reserved and skeptical and maybe a bit cynical on this one until I see more.
Yeah, probably not a bad idea because I mean, the entrance and what we got wasn't much. All you saw was that little video of them outside. So, and again, it could have been anyone. It could have been actors, like Gary said. If they didn't have time to get these people in there and it was a last minute thing, then it probably was. They probably just got people from the performance center that were there hanging around, threw them in these costumes, and had them outside of the building and film that piece. It didn't even. Somebody mentioned too about the timing not even being right, because they had, like, on the East Coast, if they recorded that video back earlier in the day, how they were saying, well, it was earlier today, or we got this earlier today, it would have been light out. So they didn't even match with the time, because Florida at that time, it doesn't get dark until the East Coast is about 8:15, 8:20 or so. So, I mean, if they were going back to before Raw or when Raw began, it wouldn't have been dark. So it didn't even match really. So yeah, I'm going to be the same. Again, another old incomplete check off here, because you don't know. Obviously, we got the name, so they did name them and say it was Retribution. A lot of you guys, I don't know if you like the name. I know people are saying that was from, Darren said it was from a previous pay-per-view and things like that. So, yeah, I mean, it's not. Is it the greatest name? No. You know, I think WWE likes faction names with TION at the end. I mean, of course, Demolition and, you know, but yeah, we'll just see, I guess, and reserve judgment and see what's going to happen next week on it, and go from there. Again, you know, a lot of this stuff just seems like it's going to be part one of what would be a 2-part story, and judging it on just one part is probably not the right thing to do. So let's make it a little more humorous, shall we? And let's talk about Talking Shop-A-Mania. Gary, did you watch this? Because I'll tell you, Jeff and I streamed this, and I know the guys who watched this with us. We had a blast. I mean, I could not stop laughing the entire time we were doing this. So it was really hard to do a watch along, because Jeff and I were basically just laughing the entire time. I'll tell you, I mean, this was just, to me, look, it's something I think everybody needed, because, you know, people just need to kind of laugh. I mean, everything that's going on in the world and everything else, it's good to just get a laugh and see these two guys making fun of themselves and, you know, making fun of their own business and, you know, just kind of poking fun at the wrestling business overall. What did you think of this? And I mean, of course, they said it was the worst pay-per-view ever. You know, it was trending on Twitter at worst pay-per-view ever. What did you think of this thing?
Well, I would always encourage everyone to drink responsibly, but I watched this while having had a few beers, and I loved it. Absolutely loved it. It's just what wrestling needs. For me, I think, you know, everything can get so serious, and at the end of the day, we need to remember what wrestling is. If you're going to take wrestling really seriously, I actually think you're probably as well just not watching wrestling, or being really, really, you know, maybe only watching like New Japan or something like that, which even then, that has humor. So I think if people don't like humor in wrestling, you're probably as well going to watch UFC or something like that. The perfect thing about this for me was it was so self-aware. And they knew it was. That is the full idea of the pay-per-view. It was, you know, it was two wrestling fans who just happened to be wrestlers and happened to be incredible businessmen, putting out a show that wrestling fans, for the most part, would absolutely love. And, you know, perfect timing. They couldn't have done it any better. We know that the last ever WWE match was the Boneyard match. They parodied that perfectly, but they weaved everything else in as well. You know, they weaved in the stuff with the Young Bucks. They weaved in poking fun at them going to Impact. And what a genius move this is for, you know, not just for both Gallows and Anderson, but for Impact. Because for a start, you know, part of their contract with Impact, it's not an exclusive contract. Obviously, they can work in New Japan, but they were also able to promote this show via Impact. And for Impact, it's win-win, because it's a case of, well, if it fails, then it's no big deal. We've just helped out two of our talents, and it helped us get two of the biggest talents in Impact, maybe the two biggest talents in Impact. So you count that as, you know, if it fails, well, it got us to where we need to be. But it didn't fail. It didn't fail by a long shot. It trended, and it got more eyes on Gallows and Anderson. got more eyes on Impact. Man, it done everything it had to do and then some. And even at that, if I take the business decisions out of it, it was just great fun. It was just an absolutely brilliant pay-per-view. 90 minutes, I think it was. Anything that runs that short is pretty much guaranteed to not bore you unless it's really bad. This was far from boring. It was absolutely amazing. And I keep saying it, and I'm going to keep saying it. Gallows and Anderson are two guys who don't leave money on the table. They are two guys that can make the most of anything. They done a lot of media work beforehand. They done a load of interviews, but they successfully managed to call something the worst pay-per-view ever, and they had everyone talking about it. WWE superstars, Randy Orton, Finn Balor were talking about it. They had people from AEW, Impact, everywhere talking about it. And that, for me, it just shows how much everyone loves those two guys. And I would not be surprised if there's a second one.
Yeah. Jeff and I actually mentioned that after it was over. Are they going to do another one? Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either. Obviously, it's like anything else. You don't want to do it too often because people get sick of it. But yeah, if they space this out well enough where you do one and maybe you do another one 6-7 months down the road and people kind of forget about this one. Yeah, I don't see why not. I don't see why not. I loved it. I had more fun watching this thing and trying to do a watch along and talking about it. I know everybody that was watching it with us enjoyed it too. And Jeff, I know Jeff, you enjoyed it as well. Before we get to Jeff, I know people are still saying, yeah, apparently people that are just coming in, Gust, I guess, just came in and said it's freezing. Yeah, apparently there's issues on YouTube. So if you don't just have YouTube and you have Twitch, you may want to go over there. Sonny asked, what is it? It's Insiders Wrestling Podcast, all one word, is our Twitch. So if you want to go over there, I know there's a lot of people watching on Twitch as well. Apparently YouTube's having some glitching going on. So you can watch us on Twitter, on Periscope. You can watch it on Twitch as well. You could also go on Facebook if you are on Facebook also. So we have heard that YouTube's having problems. But Jeff, I know you love this show also. We came out of this with a real, it was just a blast. It was just really fun.
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of fun. It's something that it didn't take the business too serious, and a lot of times that's what we need as an escape, because so many people get so wrapped up in which company's doing this or that. But when you can have something like this that just completely pokes fun at a lot of different things, especially things in the business, it was really refreshing, and I had such a great time. I've actually had such a great time that I've watched it 3 other times since then, and and have enjoyed it every single time. So yeah, I absolutely love this, and I hope they do it again.
That's awesome. Yeah, I agree. I loved it all. I thought it was great. Again, I loved how they were kind of poking fun at the sport and each other, and the comment. I know that I missed a bunch too, and that's probably why Jeff went back and watched it, because there was so much to listen to. The commentary too, like in the background. A lot of times, if you're paying attention to what's going on, you weren't listening to their commentary in the background, and some of the commentary was absolutely hilarious. So, yes, I absolutely loved it as well. Thank you to those who have gone over to Twitch. And if you are not subscribed on Twitch, please do so. That would be awesome while you're over there. So our last thing with Gary today, and we will let him go and get some rest before he has to get up for work. What did we think, Gary, about The Fiend? I know this was humongous on Friday. We did an Abby's Window on Monday, which was probably our most exciting Abby's Window we've done in a while. The Fiend, of course, comes out, and Funhouse Bray comes out first and says, everybody's, nobody's safe. And then, of course, we saw the lights go out. Alexa gets pushed to the side by Nikki Cross, and then she's there, and then all of a sudden the lights go down, and we see the red light, and the Fiend is back, and he takes out Alexa. What did you think of this, man? I loved it, because obviously it led back to the swamp match with the sighting of Alexa and the fact that Alexa and Braun are friends. And now it looks like he's going after Braun's friends to try to get him to come out and maybe put that title on the line. What did you think of that moment on Friday?
Friday was the first SmackDown in probably close to a year that I didn't stay up to watch, and I have never been more annoyed at myself for not staying up to watch it, because I saw on Twitter the very next day that one clip, and I really wish I'd got to see it, you know, not live because it wasn't live, but got to watch it at the same time as everyone else, because for me, man, one of the best moments in wrestling this year. And you know, I think that is the kind of segment that no one saw coming. Maybe some people saw the little, you know, the little Nikki Cross thing with maybe her getting annoyed at Alexa again. I don't think anyone, even after the Bray Wyatt promo, would have seen that coming. And it was, for me, brilliant. I know that, you know, there's a lot of talk about intergender wrestling and stuff like that, and this was just on that boundary that I think most people were okay with it. Funnily enough, I won't digress too much, but in my day job, I do subtitling, and I subtitle a lot of wrestling for BT Sport, who is the UK provider of WWE content. And the pre-Watershed version, it had the Fiend show up, but it didn't show the Mandible Claw on the pre-Watershed version, which is the one that goes out before 10 p.m. 9 p.m. here is the Watershed. So anyone who's a younger viewer wouldn't have seen, they'd have seen the Fiend show up, but they wouldn't have seen the Mandible Claw. And for me, that was the most effective thing ever. But I know that the pre-Watershed thing, they do crop the Fiend out of a lot, purely because he is the most sinister character on television, on WWE television. But for me, that segment, man, and Alexa Bliss played it perfectly as well. That's something that she deserves a lot of credit for, how she played that. She made that look like a really terrifying segment. I loved seeing, you know, that. I don't think I'll ever get bored of hearing that little drone sound and see the lights start to dim. I think that's always going to be that thing that just has that effect. Not quite the same as the Undertaker's gong, but man, not far off it. When the lights start to dim and that weird kind of eerie sound hits and makes you feel a bit uncomfortable, there's nothing better in WWE right now for me, and I absolutely loved it. I can't wait to see where it goes, but this is one of those times where I could not care less where it goes, because I just loved that moment. And man, I think I may have watched that segment more times than Jeff has watched Talking Shop-A-Mania. So that says a lot for it.
Oh man, I will echo those words. Yes, look, for me and for Jeff, I know we're big horror fans, and man, if you didn't see a horror image there where he was kind of looking at her, I mean, that is a stalker moment with any, like, you know, Michael Myers and Jamie Lee Curtis, where she's sitting in the chair and Michael kind of, you know, gets up behind her. It was an ultimate stalker moment. And yeah, Alexa was perfect because she just was frozen. She didn't run away like Jerry the King Lawler tried to run away and go up the ramp and get attacked there. She just froze there. And I guess if you think about it, what would you do? What would you do if that happened? I mean, all of us, we're big nerds and we love Bray, so we would probably be jumping for joy that he was coming to get us. But, you know, anyone else, if you're portraying that, what would you do? You would, of course, freeze there, because you don't know what's going to happen. Where is he? And, of course, he was right behind her. And then when he came around front and, of course, delivered the Mandible Claw, yeah, I mean, she looked absolutely terrified, kind of saying no a little bit. You can hear. And some people heard Bray. He was gonna, you know, you can hear him kind of screaming. And some people thought they heard him say Braun, and thought they heard it. It's hard to tell. I went back and tried to listen, and it's hard to tell when he screams with the mask on, because you can't, it's muffled. So it's hard to tell, but some people were saying he was saying Braun's name. But yeah, it was so great. I absolutely loved it. Jeff and I know we talked about this on Abby's. I know you love this too. And wherever this is headed, like Gary said, it's just great stuff. And I mean, Jeff, I know you made a lot of comments on Monday on Abby's, but I know you loved it also.
Yeah, I absolutely did. I thought this was a brilliant moment, because this was genuine. This was a genuine, shocking moment that they gave us that we haven't really gotten from WWE in quite some time. So to see that was absolutely awesome. The way that Alexa played it was brilliant. And the Fiend, I mean, he's just Bray Wyatt is just money. I mean, the guy's just money. And
yes,
I mean, how he stalked around her and did everything that he did, and then her facial expressions. I just thought it was a perfect moment, and what a way to end the show and get everyone excited about the next one.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And for Gary to say something like that he said he thought it was one of the moments of the year. Obviously, he reports on all this stuff every single week from a lot of the companies. So if he says that, hey, you gotta, that's pretty impressive. If that is one of the biggest moments of the wrestling year so far. So Gary, as always, my friend, thank you so much for joining us. I know we kept you a little bit longer than we usually do, but we had so many things to go over. But again, if you guys haven't already, go to Twitter, follow Gary there. Obviously, he said he has his own Twitch stream, which he does. So check him out while you guys are on Twitch. And a lot of you are on Twitch. Go check out Gary's channel and subscribe to his channel as well as ours while you guys are over there. So, Gary, thank you so much again for joining us. We really, really appreciate your time. And, maybe we'll get some puzzle pieces put back together once we all watch Raw next week.
Can't wait to join you guys again next week, and hopefully we can just sit in silence because it'll be a quiet week in wrestling where nothing happens. That would be nice and blissful. We can chat about some horror films or some
you go.
Some beer or whatever. Yeah, but no, thank you guys again. I really enjoy coming on here every week. Well, every week when I don't fall asleep and chatting wrestling.
It's all good.
Thanks again, guys.
Thanks, Gary. Take it easy, buddy. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, guys. Take care.
All right. All right, so Gary Cassidy just joined us, of course, and now next up, so let's get into this a little bit. Let me just tell you guys, stay with us tonight. I know we're going to run a little longer. I apologize, but and also, of course, the technical difficulties. I don't know what that is. I imagine it's YouTube. So again, apologize for that as well. That those of you who had technical difficulties, thank you for sticking with us. But we are going to make an announcement tonight. I'm going to make a little preface to the announcement. So there'll be an announcement with a little preface to the announcement. But yes, so again, another step in our directions that we are going in, and we will let you all know what that is very shortly. So let's get into our next part, which I know Jeff's chomping at the bit to talk about. We're going to talk about a little AEW. So of course we got some announcements that AEW is moving. They are going to move to Thursdays, obviously. Also maybe a Saturday, I think, thrown in there. NBA basketball is on TNT, and that is their bread and butter. So they are moving AEW. They are going to be so. We were going to kind of talk about what this is going to mean for AEW, which we're going to kind of make this kind of fast because we got a bigger discussion with AEW now. But I don't know. To me, I don't think it's a bad thing. It gives us another day of wrestling. Normally we were watching 2 shows on Wednesdays. It's hard to do that because you're either taping one and watching the other or doing vice versa. So now we won't have to. You've got another day of wrestling. So you'll, Nails, there were technical difficulties in YouTube, but no, Twitch has been fine. But yeah, so we got another day of wrestling. I don't necessarily think it's going to be a bad thing. You won't get the competition. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe because they're not competing so much with NXT for a little bit. Maybe they won't be. I don't know. Maybe they'll go off their game a little bit. But yeah, I don't necessarily think it's going to be a big thing. So, hey, no big deal. It's only going to be a temporary thing anyway, and then it'll be back on Wednesday nights. So, let's get to another topic, and we've talked about this in the past. A lot. So AEW debuted this. Now, if you guys had been with us, and I know it's been a little bit, but if you guys have been with us for the interview that we did with Queen of NE, who's awesome. And again, go follow her on Twitch if you haven't already as well. She does podcasts as well and was introduced to us by Fal. Very, very cool. We had a great interview with her. She had told us about this on her interview. Saying that they were coming out with this thing called the AEW Heels, and that she was kind of a part of it. She had got to go on phone calls and conference calls, Zoom calls, I guess, with some of the people who were involved. And so this has hit this has come out today. And they're charging $50. Now, there's some confusion as to what it is, because now they're saying it's for entrepreneurs, but it's still $50 regardless if you want to join, or whether or not this is directed at entrepreneurs. There was a lot of conversation on social media. One in particular was directed at Cody, about the women's division and about how they're not utilizing their women's division. And Cody kind of, for lack of a better term, blew it off. He kind of didn't really answer the question. And he just kind of said, well, look, we had the tag team tournament match, and that was cool. Really kind of didn't answer the question. And then Brandy came on, and Jeff showed me this and tweeted out. Jeff, you can hear Jeff grumbling a little bit in the back. But look, I'm going to let Jeff take over in a second. All I'm going to say here, and look, tune in next week, because Queen of NE, I really tried to get her on the show because I wanted an insider's opinion on this, because she obviously is involved. She was involved with this. I would love to get her opinion, and I want to find out what she has heard, and obviously also what she thinks about the women's division in AEW, because I'm not thinking much of it. I'm not thinking much of it right now. I don't like what they're doing. I don't like how they're pushing them to the side. I don't like how they're not, they're not giving them main events. I don't like it. And I think they've got a lot of superstars there, a lot of people that are name, worth mentioning, good athletes, good superstars in their women's division. And I just don't think they're taking advantage of it. I don't know why. I'm trying to reason it with myself and kind of thinking, I don't know, is it Tony Khan? But I don't know. I don't know Tony Khan other than knowing he's an owner and he's a billionaire. But, I don't know. The things I see from him on social media kind of come off as being jovial and being, that he's not. I don't know. So is this coming from the top? Is it him saying that he doesn't trust the women's division, that he doesn't want to spotlight them? I don't know. I don't get it. They have people coming in from NXT that they're not talking much about. I just don't get it. I don't understand it. It's coming off as a big miss to me. And my opinion on it, they better shape it up. Because, look, we are in a time now where women are a big part of wrestling. Like it or don't like it, women are a big part of wrestling. And I am so happy to have women in our community, so happy to have women coming to us and telling us their thoughts about our show. That's awesome. That is absolutely awesome. And that's why I was trying to get Queen of NE on. Unfortunately, she couldn't be here. She got stuck in that big storm and it has no power. And, thoughts out to her. I hope she gets that resolved. That's never a fun thing to live with. But I couldn't be more complimented by that. I love seeing fans, men and women, of wrestling. I love it. And I love the fact that WWE has their women doing main events. NXT, the NXT in your house main event was amazing, and where Io Shirai won. And then, of course, we have Impact. Impact's women division is killing it. I mean, they're awesome too. So what's going on with AEW? Why are we not living in this? Why are we not living in modern times? Why are we not, building their women like all these other companies seem to be? I don't know. I really don't know. I'd like to know, but I don't think you're going to get an answer. It doesn't at least seem like that. Cody didn't give a straight answer. So where is this coming from? Why are they not trusting the women? That's what it is. I don't know. Jeff, go ahead. I really don't have anything more to say on it other than I think it's a big miss on their part. And if they don't watch out, there's a sneaky little thing coming up the line called Impact Wrestling. If they don't watch out, you can bet that they will take advantage because they're moving up. They are moving up in the world, and they are getting better and better. And you better watch your back because don't start to think that you're above everybody because you've got stars and you've got Jericho and Matt Hardy and you've got all these guys. Don't start to think that you're too big to have some competition. So Yeah. Jeff, go ahead, man. That's all I've got to say.
I'm gonna read. I know you referred to it, but I'm gonna read the tweet from Brandy, and then I'm gonna give my thoughts and opinion on AEW and their women's division. Brandy says, "Oh, for love and lemons, my head is aching. This is not about women's wrestling. It's about community for the fans. Now stop droning on and on like that little dog barking next door in the dog day heat. Context is key. Reading is comprehension, and I am bored." Okay. Now that we have that out of the way, I'm gonna make a few statements, and I apologize in advance for what I'm about to say. The time has come where the new car smell has worn off of AEW, and they're just as apt to be criticized as any other company. I think there was a bit of a honeymoon period in some cases where everyone loved everything, and there are still fans out there that love everything about AEW. And you know what? Great, that's fine. Good for you. The few problems that I have with AEW right now is, one, you have a women's division full of talented female wrestlers, and we barely get to see them. Barely. Tonight they got 4 minutes on Dynamite. 4 minutes.
Wow.
So okay. That's one problem. Then, and I was really excited about this, you announce a women's tag team tournament, and I'm pumped up about it. I'm like, yes, finally. Now, it was a bit confusing to me because, in my opinion, honestly, if I'm not as into it as I am, I didn't know they actually had enough women to do a tag team tournament. I mean, I really didn't know. So, okay. We get the tag team tournament. I'm happy about it. And then I find out it's going to be on YouTube and not TV. So that's another missed opportunity for AEW. Then today, we get this announcement about AEW Heels. And what I want to say is this is a great initiative. I love the fact that they are going after female fans, because I feel like that's something that should have happened long ago. Women's wrestling should have been taken more serious years ago, and I'm happy to finally see women, at the forefront in a lot of these communities. I'm happy about that. I'm not going to go that hard against this because I don't know as much about what they're offering for this quote unquote membership. And I want to give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they just made a misstep when it came to their social media campaign about this, whatever it is. I'm just going to give the benefit of the doubt. All I'm going to say is this. Tonight, Matt cut a promo where he talked about AEW always listens to its fans. Well, the fans for quite some time now have been calling for AEW to put more of a spotlight on women's wrestling and their women's division, and they have yet to do so. I applaud you for creating a tag team tournament. That's great. That gives the women more of a platform. But I'm sorry, that should be a part of your flagship show every Tuesday. So my thing is this. If you want people to think that you care about your women's division, if you want me to care about your women's division as a fan, then how about let's put more time into it? Because if you're not invested as a company in a portion of your company, then how can you ask me as a fan to care about it when I see certain people on screen and I only see them for maybe 10 minutes every couple weeks? Like, I mean, I'm not going to get as invested as a fan. So my thing is, and I'm actually being a lot nicer about this than I really want it to be, because I really want it to go really go hard at them. But my thing is, at this point, you have fans that are saying to you over and over again, please give us more women's wrestling. They need to be on my screen. And when you just don't give us much of that at all, and then you tell us about a match for a pay-per-view that has very little build other than looking at AEW Dark or this tag team championship thing that's on YouTube, I'm sorry, I'm just not that invested. I want to be invested. They have great women's wrestlers in AEW, so it's about time that we start to see more of the women. You know, even if they want to carve out 20 to 30 minutes an episode, give us something. Give us more than 4 minutes. Give us more than 5 minutes. Give us something that as fans we can say, okay, they are listening and they're moving in the right direction. I just Nels just said something, and I wish I would have too. Nell says, I wish all these people fighting for the women now were around in the Attitude Era to fight for us. Imagine where we'd be. Yes, right now women's wrestling is about 10 to 20 years behind, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And that's because we haven't had enough people be out there supporting the women's wrestlers. I mean, you know, for so long, women were seen as only valets, or, you know, the occasional match, but it wasn't taken seriously. Women train just as hard, if not harder, than men in professional wrestling. You're not going to tell me anything different. That's something I've seen with my own two eyes. So they have every much of a right to be out in front in those main event situations, as opposed to always, you know, saying, okay, well, let's go ahead and plan our show, and then whatever time we have left, that's what we're going to book the women's angles with. That's not right. I'm not going to go as hard on this AEW Heels thing, because I just want to make sure that I understand everything completely. I think Nell said in another comment that this was more geared towards content creators, but then it ended up going out to everybody. If that's the case, then yes. You know, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. But I just think that, you know, we're at a point in time where companies have to start putting more of a focus on women's wrestling, and you know, and do it in a way that's meaningful, because they deserve those main event matches. They deserve the spotlight. They deserve to be on video games. They deserve to be in these endorsements and all these other areas, because you know what? They work just as hard and they go through the same training, and they, in a lot of cases, get treated like absolute crap because they're a woman, and that's not right. So if they have to claw and fight and do everything they have to do to get through training, then you know what? They deserve to have the spotlight too. So it's time that platforms like ours, and I feel funny saying that, but it's time like platforms like ours and others really start to call people out and really hold them accountable for highlighting women's wrestling, because it needs to be.
Yes, very well said, sir. I agree. Look, again, we're in different times now. So you know, if AEW would have started 7-8 years ago, like Nails mentioned, this wouldn't be a discussion. And then C mentioned also that people have voices now in social media, which they didn't have back then, which is true. I mean, what did you have 9-10 years ago? What, MySpace? So yeah, obviously there isn't people to come out and to say these things and to say you're doing a poor job. So let's get it moving. Yes, and the heels thing, I agree with you as well. There could have been some misunderstandings there, so let's wait and see. And again, hopefully I will be able to get Queen of NE back with us, and she'll join the show. I asked her if she could come on our show next week, so we'll see if we can bring her on, even if it's for 10 minutes or so, and let's have her kind of maybe set us straight with that. Because obviously she would know a lot better about that than we would, being that she was looked at to be in the program. And I guess it kind of would make sense because Queen of NE does podcasts and things like that. So maybe that's why she was involved in the first place, is because it's for content creators. So yeah, let's see if we can get her on. We will indeed do that. But I also am going to ask her what she thinks about all this because, during our interview, she was very much very, very excited about the women's division and stuff like that when we talked to her. So let's see what she has to say now, and see if things hadn't changed a little bit. But yeah, make of it what you will. I think it's a big topic, and I think it's something that AEW really needs to address. I'm not going to sit here and bash AEW. I'm not. I like AEW. I like a lot of things that they do, but this is a sore thumb. It sticks out. And they do need to change things. They do need to change things. 4 minutes, guys, in a show. Come on. It's not enough. It's just not enough. And I get it. Look, I get it. We're in different times now. Blah blah blah. We're not in front of fans. I understand, but 4 minutes on a show is pathetic. It's just pathetic. You've got a ton more talent than that. So yeah. All right. So that's that. Let's move on, shall we, to our debate segment, where we all have fun. Let's go to our debate segment. And Jeff, what have we got leading off our debate segment? I appreciate you guys sticking with us. Like I said, we are going to be a little later tonight. But please hang around because, like I said, we've got that big announcement coming up, and we're excited to make that. So please stick around, and so you can hear the big announcement. So Jeff, what's up first?
Let's go from this to most fun, but we'll talk about Raw Underground first. So, sell or no sell, Raw Underground should be a new normal for WWE Raw.
For now, I'm gonna sell it because I love it. Yeah, I'm gonna sell it because we don't know enough about it. We only got to see maybe 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there. So let's say, I don't know, let's say 15 minutes. We got to see 15 minutes of this, maybe. So again, like I said about Raw, it's an incomplete. It is new. Obviously they're trying to make it edgy. And if they're trying to make it new, trying to make it edgy, everybody wants new and edgy. Everybody wants something new, right? So I'm going to give it a shot. I'm not a big fight fan. I will admit that right off the bat. I am not a UFC person. I don't watch it. The last time I probably watched a boxing match was when Mike Tyson was still fighting, so I don't watch boxing very often either. So I'm not into the fight game. So it's going to take a lot to win me over because I don't watch that normally. I know a lot of you guys do and enjoy UFC, and that's great. And I'm sure that it was fun for you guys, maybe even more so. But I'm going to sell it for now because I want to see where they go with it. I'm interested to see if they're going to underutilize people like Dolph and like other guys in there. I'm interested to see that. If that's going to give them a place, then okay. Are they going to bring Brock back, and is Brock going to get involved with this somehow? Who knows? Is Shayna going to get involved with this? Are they going to utilize people like that? Is Ronda going to come back and get involved with this because she's from this kind of thing? Obviously, it's scripted. It's not exactly like a UFC fight. Shane is kind of the be-all and end-all, even above the referee. Shane tells you when the match is over and blah, blah, blah. So, I don't know. We'll see. It could end up failing miserably, and they may take it off in a month or two. I don't know. Gary said he's thinking 2 months. I think we should just wait and see where it goes. I know people didn't like how the Hurt Club came and cleared everybody out, but obviously that was to give them a push at the end of the show, and probably nothing more than that. So we'll see where it goes. But I'm for right now, I'm gonna say sell it. Jeff, what about you?
I'm gonna say sell it.
I love it.
But I'm gonna come at it a little bit different here. With this, like I want to give it time for them to build it up and make it what they want it to be, but at the same time, I'm really tired of seeing WWE just throwing crap at a wall and seeing what sticks. If they want to lean into this Raw Underground thing and try it for a few months to see how it goes, that's fine, but I need to see something a little bit different than what I saw last week. Like I love the fact that they brought it to us, but I hated the fact of Shane McMahon talking like every 3 minutes after somebody hit somebody. It's like, just give me something a little bit different. If you're going to make it different from Raw and you're going to brand it separately from Raw, then it has to feel different from Raw. It can't be the same thing. You got to be a little more, gringy and dirty and all that stuff. So, I'm gonna say I sell it for now because I want to see what they do with it. But for the love of everything in the world, WWE, you're the biggest wrestling company in the world. Get off your butt. Stop being lazy. Stop going with old formulaic storylines that don't work and get creative. And if you don't have the people in the building to do that right now, then you need to hire some people to do it. And by the way, it's not television writers who have no experience in writing wrestling. You need to talk to people who have been in the business. And that way you can create some of these storylines and some of the things that you actually need to have, instead of coming up with ideas every 2 months, sticking with it for 2 months, and then we never see it again. So let's give it time, but I need to see WWE make it feel like it's something different.
Fair enough. Yep, fair enough. So again, like I said, I kind of give this an incomplete because of that, but we'll see. Could it go really bad really quickly? Yeah. No doubt it could. It could get really cheesy, and if it does, then it's wasted. So moving right along. Jeff, what's up next?
So we're going to talk a little bit about SummerSlam. Obviously, there have been rumors out there that they're trying to have this at an outdoor venue, and if that's the case, then they're going to have try to have some fans there. So, if possible, WWE should have fans at SummerSlam at an outdoor venue, sell or no sell.
No damn way. No sell it. Absolutely no sell it. No sell this. Look, it's just not, number one, it's not safe. I don't care what people say. If you're one of those people that are conspiracy theorists, I feel sorry for you, but it's not being logical. People in the chat, I saw you guys earlier today were talking about a cruise ship type thing. Do you really want to see that happen? First of all, a cruise ship could be a death trap. If somebody on there gets COVID, that whole cruise ship is shut down. This happened in California earlier this year. People were out on a cruise ship. They came back and they were stuck in dock. They could not leave that ship. They were quarantined in that ship and could not leave. Do you want to see wrestlers quarantined on a ship and not be able to leave? I don't think so. So, no. Do I want them to bring? No. Look, we are not in a position to say in the United States that we can have fans at events. We're just not. So regardless of how many you bring in, and I know Vince, I think there was rumors that he was trying to convince people in New Jersey that said that, well, it's only going to be a couple thousand. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You can't have crowds. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that everyone has masks or any of that kind of stuff. It doesn't matter. It is not the time to be getting brave. It is not the time to be doing that. No, I'm sorry. And I hate to be the one to break it to everybody. 2020 is a wash. It's a wash. I get it. Sports are happening with basketball. I get it. They're in their little bubble playing, and baseball is trying to play, and they got, some of their games already got shut down because of people getting COVID. Look, it's a fact of life in 2020. Is it fun? No. Is everybody sick of it by now? Yes. But no, don't rush this. Don't bring fans into an arena of any kind. I don't care if it's outdoors. There were a bunch of kids on Miami beaches that were down there, saying, oh, we're going to party. This doesn't exist. And guess what? They brought it home. They got sick too. So nope, sorry, no. It's too risky. It's too risky to the general public. It's too risky to the wrestlers. And you don't think for a second that some of these athletes aren't going to balk at this and say, I'm not going there. I'm not going on a boat. You think Bray Wyatt's going to want to get on a ship when he's got a baby at home and you're taking a risk that someone may get it and someone might have it? You can test people all you want. That doesn't necessarily mean they're not a carrier of this. So you think he's going to want to board a boat in a confined area and get in there with a bunch of people who somebody could end up with COVID and then he gets it? So no, absolutely not. No sell. It's a stupid idea.
All right. So, right there with you. No sell. Everything that you said, I completely agree with, but I'm going to add something to it. And if it sounds like I'm being very critical of WWE tonight, it's because I am. But my thing is this. They mishandled the whole COVID thing in the beginning anyway, so why in the world would I trust them to be able to put plans in place for social distancing and handing out masks and doing all these other things that they didn't do in the beginning? Maybe they've learned their lesson now, but you know what? I say if you're going to do it at a different venue, fine. Go ahead. Do it. That's cool. Do it at an outdoor venue. That's fine. But I just don't trust them to do that in the proper way to bring in fans. Like you said, 2020 is basically a wash at this point. Let's go ahead and finish out the year. We've got 4 months basically left in the year. Let's go ahead and finish out the year without fans and reevaluate them, because I don't know if anybody's noticed, but COVID cases have gone up again in a lot of areas. And I don't want to be out there with people who may or may not be carrying this thing. And and that's got nothing to do with anything but the facts. I see the statistics. I see how many people are contracting this every day. I see how many people are dying every day. And to be quite honest with you, I want everyone to be safe. So if that means we've got to suck it up and stay indoors and watch wrestling without fans for the next several months until this thing gets under control a little bit better, then so be it.
Agreed. Yep, I absolutely agreed. All right, so that's a little bit of a downer. Let's move on, Jeff.
All right, here's a better topic.
Oh, bring in Bray Wyatt when you need a smile.
Yeah. So the Fiend should win the Universal Championship at SummerSlam. Sell or no sell?
Oh boy, is this a tough one. Man, oh man, is this a tough one, because I've been on the no sell train with this for a long time, because look what happened. In the match that we will not name, Vince got a little crazy, and Vince just sat back in a chair and he said, Goldberg has to win, and he got a little nutty, and we know what happened when he had the title. So, and see, that's the drawback, isn't it? That's the drawback. So, would he do it again? It's Vince. So, yeah, he can. If he's desperate enough. We all know how much he likes Roman, and Roman's going to be lurking around the corner. So, man, is this a hard question.
This is tough.
Do I think he should win? No. 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 I'm going to no sell that he should win, but do I think he will? Yes. And the reasons are very simple. The reasons are because he's the big, like Jeff said, he's money. He's the big thing right now. There's no question. He is the big draw. There's nothing else in this company right now that's bringing anybody else in as much as Bray Wyatt. Facts. So should he win? I don't think so, because I think it takes him off track. And it makes, we talked about this on Abby's, it makes him the hunted. He's going to then have to be the one who's going to defend against whoever the contenders are going to be. And the contenders don't have to fit into his story. They don't. Now, we talked about this. Does he win the championship and then go on champion versus Orton? Oh, I would absolutely love to see that. So if that's the way they're going, then okay, I'm good. Then I'm good. But if they're going to do this, and I mean, let's remember, guys, he won the championship at this exact time just about last year, a little bit later, not at SummerSlam. He beat Balor, but he won it a little bit later, right? He won it in October on Halloween. He carried it, 4 or 5 months? And he lost.
Yeah.
So
like that. Yep.
Is it almost going back in that same direction again? And then you're going to give the number one contender to a person in the Royal Rumble, and they're going to get to pick their opponent. And does Roman come back and win the Rumble? And then he picks Bray, and we start all over again. Because chances are Roman's going to win that title at WrestleMania. So I don't think you guys want to see that. I don't want to see that. And I don't want to see him win just to lose. And I mean, is he going to go on a good long title reign? Maybe. And in my opinion, he should. But yeah, I mean, and look, there's always the thing. And I know Nails has said Fiend is separate, and Brave, they have separate personalities. Yes. And that's a way out, and that's really what he should have done with Goldberg. He shouldn't have been the Fiend in that match. If he really wanted to do that, it should have been Funhouse Bray versus Goldberg, and then let Goldberg beat him, because that's a beatable personality. Or even have him be Cult Leader Bray. Obviously, Cult Leader Bray is a beatable personality. The Fiend shouldn't be able to be beat, period. That's his unbeatable personality. That's his version of Cactus Jack. That's the guy who comes down and wins all the time. If you want to keep that mystique, then no. He shouldn't be losing, but yes, you can get around it by having Bray lose the belt with another personality. And yeah, okay. I'm okay with that. But should he win? I like I said, I say no, but I think he's going to. So that's my answer. Jeff?
I go back and forth with this one, but I'm going to say sell.
I love it.
Just because I know that people like that sound, that listen. And, but no, honestly, Nels is saying a lot of good stuff in the chat here. But honestly, right now, who else do you have that can carry that title? That's the question. Yeah. I have enjoyed some of Braun's character depth that has come out in his title run. I appreciate what he's doing from a promo standpoint. But I don't think that he's the same draw, and I don't even think, it's not even close. He's not the same draw as The Fiend. So if you're looking to, get those viewers again, we talk about that, then what better way than put the belt on The Fiend? Now, here's the other thing that I know people are saying, well, I really don't want him to get it now just so Roman can get it. And my comeback to that is, who says Roman is going to be anywhere near the title picture as soon as he comes back? I know that's what a lot of us think in terms of what Vince may do, but let's also think from a storytelling perspective. It just doesn't make sense for Roman just to come back after he drops out of WrestleMania to come back and be right immediately in the title picture. Now, I love Roman Reigns. I think the world of him, not only what he does in the ring, but, you know, outside of it too. But I think that would be a perfect time to set something up for Roman in terms of a story so that the Fiend could have a lengthy title run, but at the same time kind of slowly build Roman back in there. Because the last thing that the WWE wants to do right now is have Roman come back whenever that is and then immediately throw him in a title picture, because then people are going to do the exact thing that they've done with Roman for years, and that's absolutely hate his character because he's getting the quote-unquote John Cena treatment. So I think, you know, let the Fiend win the championship at SummerSlam. Honestly, he's earned it, and after that crappy stuff that happened in Saudi, he should get it back, but let him keep it a while, even if he drops it at WrestleMania against whoever, whether it's, you know, Roman or whatever it is. Build it in a way that makes sense. And I mean, I just think that, you know, I think a lot of us are automatically assuming that Roman is going to be the one going to get the shot, but I would kind of, you know, pump my brakes on that just a little bit and maybe think about maybe they're building somebody else up. Maybe they're going to have him go against Big E next, and not even necessarily that Big E will win the championship, but what that'll do to elevate Big E's status. And then maybe he doesn't win the Universal Championship, but maybe he's the one that takes the Intercontinental Championship off of AJ. So, you know, just kind of looking at some different things like that. But I'm going to sell this one for right now.
Okay. Fair enough. Yeah. And of course, we always have the Otis question, don't we? I know a lot of you people are saying, where is Otis in all this? I obviously Otis is still out there. So, you know, he can come in and try to cash in anytime he wants. So I don't really think Otis would cash in on the Fiend. That probably wouldn't be a smart idea. Yeah, you know, maybe Fiend beats down Braun, and maybe, but he wants the title, so that's not part of the storyline either. But yeah, I mean, obviously he wants the title now, so yeah. But whatever, we'll see. We'll see. I think pretty much anything they do with the Fiend is going to be good with almost anybody anyway. So, Jeff. Yeah. What else? Is that it? Is that our last topic, or do we have?
No.
That's right.
No, that's not right. At all. See, this one's fun. This is a fun one.
Yes.
So, here's the thing. Other wrestling companies should do comedic pay-per-views. We had a lot of fun with Talking Shop-A-Mania Saturday night. But yeah, other companies should do more of this. Sell or no sell?
I'm going to sell this one because I think it would be hilarious. I really do. Like if they can if they cannot take themselves so seriously, even if it's it doesn't have to be this show was about 2.5 hours long. It doesn't have to be that long. Even if you can take, I think WWE was doing it a little bit with that cartoon that they had on the network for a while. Look, if you can get some legends out there coming back, like Teddy Long was in Talking Shop and things like that, and you can have some fun and kind of make fun of yourself a little bit. My God, who wouldn't think it was funny? You know, if you saw some of these guys come back that have been gone for a while, that were these crazy gimmicks in WWE, and you know, people kind of poking fun at them and blah blah blah. Look, again, especially now, everybody needs a laugh, right? Everybody just needs to laugh sometimes. I had a hell of a day, and you know, it's, you know, sometimes it's just, you just have to laugh because there's nothing else you could do. Things go wrong, and everything's bearing down on people in this world today. And yeah, I think it would be funny though. I really do. And we're kind of getting that a little bit from Impact in another way. We're seeing it on Wrestle House. So they're doing the same thing, but with something different. You know, it's more like a version of a comedy real world with wrestlers, which, look, they're just trying stuff different to try to entertain. And that's what wrestling is about. So, can WWE do it? Sure. Absolutely. They've got guys that can do that kind of stuff. They've got guys that can do comedy stuff. Doesn't always have to be all serious all the time. You wouldn't want to bring the Fiend in there, but of course you can have Funhouse Break and join in on the fun. Yeah, they all have it. Jericho was doing some really silly stuff with Matt, with the drone and with all that kind of stuff. So, you see some of it, but yeah, should they try something like it? Why not? Why not? I mean, if it's going to be an hour show or something like that every 4 months or so, sure. Why not? I'm behind it. Why not?
So I'm gonna join you. If my sound plays,
I love it.
There we go. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I don't think that other companies would poke fun at other companies, but here's what I really enjoyed about WWE around the time of Money in the Bank. You had all the stuff with Otis and everyone and how they did the Money in the Bank match. As good as that was, it was extremely funny, and that was very well done. Then you had everything that happened between the Street Profits and the Viking Raiders, and that was hilarious. I know a lot of people didn't like it. I loved it. I thought it was funny. Then you have the National Treasure himself, R-Truth, on your roster. There are so many people in WWE that could pull this off. There are a lot of people in Impact that could pull this off, obviously. And there are definitely people in AEW that could do this. So my thing is, let loose, have some fun. Does it have to be as adult oriented as Talking Shop and Mania? Not really. It doesn't have to be that, but make something light and fun, and something that people don't necessarily have to be so uptight about, as we are as wrestling fans a lot of times. But yeah, I just think that I think that more companies should do this because it's well received. And, if you can show that sense of humor, then yeah, I mean, just do it. I mean, why not? Because especially right now, there's so much crap going on in the world that everybody needs a laugh. And unfortunately, not everybody got a chance to see Talking Shop-A-Mania for one reason or another. So yeah, let's do more stuff like this because I think we can all use more laughs and less and less crap that we have to deal with. But
was
but
it
yeah,
crude?
I mean,
Yes, but no, go ahead. Jeff.
It was fun. It
was fun. It was
fun. I mean, you have to have that kind of stuff every now and again. And I know people are talking about the Elite. If you guys haven't watched Being the Elite on YouTube, it's freaking hilarious, and they do comedic stuff a lot, and it's fun, and more people should look into that. I mean, it's just fun. Let's have some fun. People take wrestling too dang serious nowadays, and it just gets monotonous at times because you're arguing over things that other people are writing and controlling. It's not like we're arguing over football where you clearly have a better roster that is going up against another team and you already know who's going to win just based on it. I mean, sometimes we get surprises, but you pretty well know what's going to happen. This is different. This is like a TV show. This is like watching your favorite TV show and seeing which characters make it to this point or that point, what's going to happen with that character. So I think a lot of people kind of need to pump the brakes sometimes because, let's appreciate wrestling for what it is.
Yeah, I agree. Look, I mean, we're missing a lot of entertainment in our world. We're missing TV shows not being on because they couldn't film them. We're missing movies, right? I mean, everybody's gone to see raunchy comedies. Back in my day, we had Porky's, we had Police Academy, had,
Porky's.
Yeah, I mean, we had a lot of raunchy comedies back in the 1980s. So, and we're still getting them today, just in different ways. Of course, American Pie, things like that. You know, people laugh at it. You know, they go to see these things because they're funny. And you know, yeah, and now we're just kind of seeing repeats of stuff that we had already seen because there is nothing new. So why not? Why not? Why not try to entertain a little bit of a different way? WWE's never going to do what Talking Shop did because they're not going to do it adult oriented. There's just no way. There's no way because they have kids watching. They understand that. So there's no way they could do that. So it's got to be, it's got to be almost like a comedy show on TV, sketch comedy TV show kind of a thing. They're not going to do that. They're not going to go to that level on there because of when they're on and they're all, who their audience is. But yeah, why not? Let's have a little fun. Let's have a little fun. I see you guys have given yourselves all a name over on Twitch. Those of you on Twitch, that's awesome. We love to see it. Please hit the follow button or the subscribe button over there while you're there. That would be awesome. If you have not already done so, please do that. Because yes, that would be awesome. I love seeing the guys on Twitch. Thank you for joining us on Twitch, and sorry about the YouTube issues. Again, I don't know what was causing that, but I'm glad you all
I promise it's nothing I did this time. I promise
no,
it's nothing I did.
Yeah, it was YouTube, so blame YouTube. Anyway, we are at the point in the show. I know we usually we get you guys to give us a debate topic, but it's getting late. I get it. You've bared with us for a while now, and we had a lot to talk about. So thank you all for staying with us late. I know it's late for a lot of you overseas and stuff like that for sure. So we are let's get to our announcements, shall we? I know you guys have been sticking around waiting for.
I got a little something to.
Go ahead, man.
Got a little something to play here before we officially announce.
Go right ahead.
Just to hype it up just a little bit more.
All right. Why not? Hype is good.
Of course, you know, because we're the kings of tease, right? So
we are.
So here we go.
Yes, breaking news. So let me preface this. And I told you I was going to give you a preface. So let me do that. Okay. First off, please, 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 please do not take this as being a thing that is the wrong. Please don't take this the wrong way. Don't take this as something that we're doing to try to get the better of anyone else. That is the farthest thing from the truth. Okay. So please do not go and, say those kind of things because it's simply not true. Okay. There's my preface. So let me get to what it is. We are officially announcing tonight that we are going to stream all of the wrestling pay-per-views. All of the wrestling pay-per-views. We are going to do watch-alongs. Okay? We are going to do watch-alongs for every pay-per-view. Now, my preface that I said leads to this. This is in no way, any kind of a thing with Days. We love Days. Days started us off where we are, and we will be forever grateful to Wrestling Days for that. So that is not why we're doing this. And I am not saying that you should make a choice. I'm not saying that if you are watching stuff with Days that you should leave Days. By no means. Stay where you like to go. All we're doing this for is to give people a choice. Okay? Because Jeff and myself doing these watch-alongs, number one, first and foremost, we have a blast with it. Okay? We love doing it. It's really fun. I have always wanted to be a sports announcer. I've always wanted to be a guy who sits in a booth and talks sports and talks sporting events. And I love doing watch-alongs for that reason. Jeff is like a color guy on the commentary, and Jeff enjoys it too. We have a blast. The chat is silly, like our Impact chat, and we just have a blast doing it. That is the number one reason. The number two reason is because we've had people come and tell us that it's different because you normally, when you have a podcast or when you have a watch along, it's usually one person. Like Days does a fantastic job with it. He is, he keeps everybody interested. He has a great chat going on. He talks about, the subjects with everybody. He keeps everybody involved, and he's fun, and he laughs and stuff like that. And again, that's why I said everybody's got to come at it a little bit of a different way. But what I feel is there's an audience for everyone. There are millions and millions, the millions and millions, and that was a really bad rock imitation because I can't do it, of fans out there watching wrestling. And I think that we can be a part of that. That's all. Okay. So again, like I said, I wanted to preface this because I know you guys are Days community. You have come from Days community. You have joined our community because we were associated with Days, and we are forever thankful for that. And we will always be. But this is just us as a channel and as a podcast, just trying to expand our reaches and trying to grow. And we want to grow with you. As much as you want to come and watch, you come and watch. And as much as you want to stay and watch Days, please go and watch Days. I am not making you choose. All I'm doing is I'm giving people a choice. That is all. Okay? So, yes, we will be starting this with the NXT pay-per-view, and then we are going to have a watch-along for SummerSlam. So, I'm excited. Jeff is excited. We may have Jody join us for some of the events, so she's excited. Brandy will certainly be excited when he is when she is feeling better and she's back in the in the swing of things. I'm sure she will be excited because she will be able to get our commentary straight up instead of having to listen to it as it goes and kind of a little bit on a delay. So that's very cool too. So yes, I listen, I appreciate everything, guys, that you have done for us and have come and join us. And yeah, I just think that we offer something different. It's a two-man commentary, and I think we offer something different that you don't see many people do. Like I said, the people who I've seen other watch-alongs. I've gone and looked at a bunch, and they're usually all one person doing it pretty much by themselves, and then they have their audience watching. Okay, so I think we bring something else, and I'm very, very happy to be doing it. I'm excited. I know Jeff is too. And so there you go. That's it. That's our big thing. Dave in real life says nothing wrong with choices. Well done, guys. Excited for you. Hope it goes well. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate all of you guys being, and I know a lot of you are applauding. C is applauding. Nails. Thank you so much. Thank you to Sunny Wolf. All of you guys, because you're our army. You're our Insiders Army. And we would not, I say this every week, we would not be here without you guys, and we cannot do this stuff without you guys. But again, we are giving some people a choice. If there's going to be some people on Twitch that maybe aren't a part of other communities that can join us, awesome. If there's going to be some people on Facebook that otherwise would not go and join a watch along, awesome. That's where we're going. That's really where we're going. And for those of you guys who have come and enjoyed our show and have watched along the watch-alongs with us so far, because I know I've gotten good comments from you guys about the Impact stuff, and I appreciate that. You are extremely welcome to come and join us for NXT, WWE, Impact, and, of course, AEW pay-per-views from here on out. We're not doing any streams during the week, so we're not going to do Raw. We're not going to do SmackDown. We're not doing that. Because Jeff and I have jobs, and we just don't have the time. Being completely honest, so we're not going to do that. We're just going to stick to Impact during the week, but we are going to do the pay-per-views going forward. So that's the announcement. And again, right at the stroke of midnight.
Yeah.
Yes. Sorry, guys, we could not get to a debate from you guys this week, as we enjoy doing those. Jeff says, awesome. Your commentary is some of the best. Thank you, man. Really appreciate that. And look, stuff like that. and the compliments and the praise and everything you guys give us, and the feedback has been great. Gus said, I love this news. Thank you. Eric says, wow, awesome. Look, this is because of you guys. It's very simple. It is because of you guys. And that's why we're doing it. We're doing it for you. So there you go. Again, like I said, sorry we couldn't get you guys to do a little debate with you guys tonight. We just didn't have the time. There was just so much to talk about with Gary, and so much to talk about with the debate segment and everything else that we could not get around to a silly debate tonight. We'll bring that back next week for sure. Eric says this is very big. Yeah, it is. It's very, very exciting. It's very, very, very exciting. Big Boy Dally says, I'm tired of listening to Michael Cole for many years. I can listen to Joe and Jeff. Look, it's something different. Hey, I'll be honest with you guys. That's why I joined the Days community, because I was sick of listening to the ring announcers. A lot of times they don't do it for me. So I joined the community because of that too, because, Days is different. And he gets people excited about stuff, and his reactions are priceless to some things that he does, and hearing him scream at the top of his lungs. I will never do that because I couldn't. My voice would die, and I wouldn't be able to talk anymore. But yeah, so that's why I did it. And if you guys are going to do it for the same reason, that is compliment enough. Because Jesse says, I'm super excited. Thank you, Jesse. Really, really appreciate it. Dave in real life says, that's why I'm in and out of the streams, is it depends on what shifts I'm working. Yeah. And there you go. Maybe, maybe that'll play into it too. Maybe some people just can't be on at certain times. C says, now we're here for you. Thank you, man. Really, 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 really appreciate that. Nail says, that's okay. Watch both, take turns, or just watch one, but understand it's all love. Yeah. It's all about wrestling, right? It's all about a mutual thing. We all love to watch. We all enjoy it. Exactly. There's one rule on the Impact watch-alongs: you boo Moose. Boos. Yes. And you never know. Maybe during our streams, I'll come up with some more hokey impersonations. You never know what you're going to hear. Maybe you'll hear some of that. Maybe you'll hear some, I don't know. We'll see. You'll hear some sound effects and stuff like that from Jeff's soundboard. But yeah, Austin says, congrats. Thanks, man. Really, really, really appreciate it. And yeah, we're in the age of social media, right? So anybody can watch two things at once. You're going to have Days on your tablet and have us on your cell phone or whatever. You can, you're always going to, it's out there. It's always available to anybody. And yes. So yeah. Jesse says, I have two phones and a tablet, can listen to both. Yeah, exactly. You can make, you don't have to make a choice. Gus says, thank you for making the videos. Thank you guys for watching. Because, if Jeff and I were sitting here talking to ourselves, it probably would get really boring after a while. And we probably wouldn't have a channel right now. So yeah, no, thank you guys. Because again, without you, we wouldn't be here. So that said, Jeff, final thoughts going forward. I know I kind of took over that little segment there, but Jeff, I know you're excited too.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited. And, I think, obviously I agree with everything you said there. And the other thing I want to let people know too is that now that we've expanded to all of these different platforms, this gives even more people an opportunity to watch that otherwise wouldn't, like Joe said. Just to give everybody, hopefully this is okay, Joe, to share this, but
sure.
Just to give everybody an idea, when we did Slammiversary, and we really didn't know what to expect. We didn't know how many people we'd have watch and all of that stuff. And at last count, I think we're around 4,000 people from all of our different streaming platforms that we had tune in at some point or another for the Slammiversary stream. And that's a lot of people. We got a lot of people from Periscope. We got a lot of people from all over the place. Facebook. and it gives them an opportunity to join in a watch along that maybe they wouldn't ordinarily do. So so that's what we want to do. We want to expand. We want to get as many people connected as we can with wrestling, because we all love it, and we have fun doing these, and even though all we mostly did Saturday night was laugh because it was so hilarious.
Yep.
Just having that time with all of you and everybody that watched is what really brings us joy, and why we do this. I mean, we don't do this for the number of people that view it. We do it because we want to reach people and get them connected with wrestling, and that's why this podcast was started, because it was really for the fans, from the fans. So yeah, I mean, we're going to keep evolving. We're doing a lot of different shorter videos now and that thing, because we're kind of rounding out as a complete channel and kind of network, so to speak. We want to continue to do that and add new elements, because we want to grow. And I mean, I don't think either of us is saying that we're going to get to like 50,000 subscribers by next year this time. But what we want to do is we want to continue to make this fun, and have people just enjoy wrestling, and provide a community where people are nice and friendly, and we can all enjoy what we love. So so that's really all I have to say. I just want to thank everybody, like Joe did, for continued support, and going with us from the journey of the first ever podcast episode that we did, all the way up to today. We really appreciate everything, and we look forward to continuing to grow as we continue down this road, and hopefully everyone that's in here right now is along for the journey, and we appreciate it.
Yes. I second and third and fourth, and yes. Look, Rusty said, if you bring pizza, we can bring virtual pizza. It's not going to taste as good as regular pizza, but you guys can always eat pizza and tell us you're eating pizza. We talk about food. Yeah, if you haven't been to an Impact stream, that's what we do. We talk about what people are eating, drinking. It gets crazy. Yeah. Dave's fan turns heel and wants to slaughter everybody, and people have to give him a Snickers. It's fun. It's a lot of fun, and I'm sure these will be fun as well. I cannot wait to call the Braun Fiend match. It's going to be so good. I can't wait. I'll be watching, and I'll go, this is such good shit. Definitely several times I will say that. But yeah, it's going to be fun. It really is. I can't wait. Looking really, really forward to it. So that is it, guys. And Nail said that I literally laughed at you two, laughing more than the show. Yeah, listen, if you didn't watch that, if you didn't watch Talkin' Shopomania, our stream, go and watch it, because you'll hear us giggling throughout the whole thing, pretty much, because that's what we were doing. It was really funny. It was really a good time. So if you didn't listen to that one, I couldn't commentate, because many of the things they were doing I couldn't say. But also, yeah, I was laughing the entire time. So yeah. Yes. So guys, that's it. Thank you for coming. We are almost approaching a 2-hour stream here. And we don't want to kill you guys. I know you guys all work. Rusty just came home from work. Thank you for joining us, Rusty, there at the end. But listen, we love you guys. Trinard 2000 says, sorry, I haven't been around lately. Busy, but want to say hi. Hey, thanks for dropping in, buddy. No problems. No worries. We're all busy. But thank you for coming in when you did. That is it, guys. We are done. The rest of the week, I'll just give you a little bit of what's going on. Tomorrow, Jeff and I are going to do an interview with another podcast, so we'll have that on for you at some point. That won't be live. We're going to record that, and then we'll put it out there at some point for you guys. Friday, it looks as if Brandy's going to make it. If so, it's going to be part 1 of the Macho Man. Yeah, dig it. Randy Savage will be the topic for Friday. I might be able to make that one, so we'll see. I might jump in. But otherwise, it'll be Jeff and Brandy. Will be doing the Macho Man part 1. It's going to be a few parts because obviously he had a big illustrious career, and then I think they're going to Sensational Sherry as well. And then next week, we are also going to be recording an interview with Ryzen. So you've seen Ryzen in Free the Delete. He's an independent wrestler. He has decided to come on with us and talk about that. So we will be talking to Ryzen as well. And we will have that premiere for you next Wednesday at 6 p.m. Like we used to do interviews before. We put them on before NXT and AEW. So we will have that on Wednesday. And of course, we got SmackDown coming up, and we know they're already advertising. Is The Fiend going to continue his attacks? So we have Abby's window to talk about what happens on SmackDown. So, and of course, it's not that long away, 17 days until SummerSlam. So it's going to be here before you know it. So, guys, that's it. Thank you for staying with us tonight, as long as you have. Thank you for watching, as always. Please stay safe. And we will talk to you all again very soon. Have a great night, everybody. Take care. We'll see you later. Good night, everybody.